Hey everyone, Pure Insanity here. This video is all about routes to farm the Unmoored World indefinitely. The Unmoored World appears to want to kick you out after day 12, but you're never actually forced to leave. As long as you run routes that take 3 hours to cycle, you can run them back to back. Both mobs and mini-bosses will respawn in this time. I do believe dragons take a bit longer, however, dragons will respawn as well. In this video, I'm not going to cover all the tips and tricks to stay indefinitely in the Unmoored World, but you will need them. You can't pass time automatically and vendors stop refreshing, so max HP and wake stones could become an issue. If you do want that video, please let me know with a like or comment. Before getting into the routes, I do want to mention these routes are more important than just killing everything over and over again. If you want to re-explore the world and wipe out the entirety of mobs, it will take you more than 4 hours, so you're set. The routes I've prepared are going to give you the best XP and loot. You should get all the high-level enhancement materials you need, like Cursed Dolahan Bones and Black Freakish Manes, as well as items like Fairy Stones, Wake Stones, and even RC. So without further ado, let's get into the routes. This first route is both my favorite and the longest route. Starting at the south exits of the Sea Shrine, make your way south along the east coastline, heading to the volcanic island Port Crystal, circle the dried lake, and then follow the dried seedbed up towards Medusa's Cave in Batal. Both the north and south routes exiting the south Sea Shrine are good, but there's a few more mobs if you go north. The area west of Marker 2 does have some mobs to include a mini-boss, but it's far less mob dense. This circle is the bread and butter of this route. Initially, it has the Summoned Dragon location on the east side as well. Pretty much everything here is high XP undead and grim enemies. If you are blowing through all the routes in less than 3 hours, the road south of markers 3 and 4 is a good option for extra filler. Next, you're going to move west along the seabed floor. This portion of the route is mostly Saurons and regular mini-bosses, but you do get some pointed and sinister fangs if you need those. If it is taking you a little bit longer to finish the routes, this is also a portion I would consider cutting out because it is not the top XP of these routes. This next route is part 1 of 3 to move from the volcanic island Port Crystal to the excavation site. It is a little slower, but still very good. You can alternatively put a Port Crystal around marker 5 or at the excavation site if you want to skip this portion. That said, it is also a very good route if you want to avoid using a fairy stone on the previous route when you get close to Medusa's Cave, and that'll let you continue the whole of the volcanic island. In part 2 of 3, the goal is to go up and down all 3 lanes and end up by the volcanic island camp. The enemies here are just regular enemies of Saurons, Harpies, and Hobgoblins, but they are still high XP, around 1300 XP with the 2x Dragon Forged buff. There is also a dragon spawn just north of marker 5. In part 3, you start north of the volcanic island camp, then you want to go down on the lava floor, then back up on the east side. There is a dragon at marker 3, and there are a good deal of mobs between marker 5 and the north entrance of the excavation site as well, so definitely hit that up. You can reverse the order going from the excavation site back to the volcanic island Port Crystal, aka part 3, part 2, then part 1. The dragon summon is also east of the excavation site initially. This next route is a part 1 of 2. It's another high XP and grim enemy route. The Summon Dragon in Vermont is also at marker number 4. The tricky part with this route is traversing from part 1 to 2, and that's why marker 5 is off to the side a little bit. I would potentially consider putting a port crystal on the other side if you're having trouble making it over, but I will show you the trick how to get to the other side. Before you enter the Coliseum where the Summoned Dragon spawns, there are stairs on the west side that will give you enough height to cross over to the east side. Make your way up around the top of the Coliseum and you'll be able to drop into the seabed floor channel on the other side. While the rest of these clips are playing out, I'll take the opportunity to mention these routes will net you around 400k experience per hour with the Dragon Forged buff using any vocation. I do run Medusa's Bow on my main pawn, getting about 600k per hour, but it's not worth the extra time to kill running it on your Arisen from both the XP and the enjoyment factor. Part 2 of this route takes you on the east side of Vermont, heading towards the Nameless Village. Mob density is a bit lower between markers 4 and 5, so if these routes are taking you longer than 3 hours, this is a portion you may want to consider cutting out. The next 2 routes are small fillers and extras, which may take as little as 10 minutes to clear. This first route takes the west side of the North Sea Shrine exit, and although it's short, it's still very good. Once you get past marker 4, though, you'll see the mob density drop dramatically. The Sacred Arbor and west side of Vermont is just not very good for XP and items, but you do need to make your way to Sacred Arbor at least once to kill the Summoned Dragon. This last Batal route is excellent the first time you take it because there is an extra dragon and griffin fight along the way. Both Medusa and the dragon at the end of the path will respawn, making it a good repeatable route if you need extra filler or granite Medusa bones as upgrade materials. So there you have it, folks. I'll cycle through all the routes again at the end in case you want to skip ahead to them quickly for reference without commentary. Before I go though, a couple final notes. You can obviously play whatever area or dungeons you want. Everything is available in the Unmoored World. I've tested this now for several days with a lot of AFK time, so I can guarantee you're not going to get kicked out at day 40 or anything. Do use AFK time to your advantage if you want to cycle through the routes with the highest XP or the most upgrade materials you need. One day is 45 minutes, and mobs take 3 days to respawn, and mini bosses 4. I do hope you found the video informative and enjoyable. If you try these routes out, do please leave a comment with your feedback or any recommendations you have. I hope this video helps you enjoy Dragon's Dogma 2 even more. Until next time.